Hello. It's the beginning of week 6 in our Introduction to Literature class, and we've spent the last 6 weeks exploring a bunch of different short stories. I hope you found among them some favorites, some favorite characters, some favorite settings, and even maybe a favorite theme or two. This week is going to be dedicated to looking back at those stories, reflecting on them, and working on an essay assignment. It's one of the 2 essay assignments you have in this class. There's one that's due at the end of this week, and then there's one that's due at the end of the semester. The other major assignment would be an exam over the novel Winter's Bone, and that doesn't come up for another 4 or 5 weeks. For this week, there's no reading quiz or discussion. Your only work is this essay, and I want to take a little time on this video to explain a bit about the essay and what your assignment is. All of this is posted as well in the weekly course notes, and a lot of your questions perhaps about the essay might be answered there. I still know that the audio is off on these videos, and I'm trying desperately to fix it. Hopefully that will happen soon. I'll try to make this video maybe a little shorter, and the gap between the audio and the video won't be so extreme by the end. Alright. Your essay is a compare and contrast essay that students usually take between 4 to 5 pages to complete. Compare and contrast essays are ones in which you look for similarities and differences. For this compare and contrast essay, you're going to be examining 2 short stories. Any of the stories we read from this semester, and the list is posted on the assignment page. Like I said, I hope you found some ones that you enjoy, some ones that you like, some ones that maybe you even connect to. You're going to choose 2 stories to compare and contrast, and in particular, you're going to be looking for a connection between the theme of these stories. Remember, theme is a big idea about life, and you're going to think about all the stories we've read and try to pair 2 that have a similar idea that the author's exploring about life. These ideas can range from things like family, to relationships, to friendships, to religion or community. Self-identity is a big one as well. There are a number of ideas authors want to explore in their work. Start thinking theme-wise which ones the authors explored in the works we read from this semester. Now, once you've found those 2, you not only have to discuss what the theme of the story is and how the theme might be similar or different in both stories, but you also want to express how the author is presenting those ideas. I made a little chart here. I don't know if it's going to help. I hope so. This is my math equation for your essay. You're first of all thinking about the what. What is the story about? What's the big idea in life? And that would be the theme. Then you want to examine how. How is the story examining that what? And the how is going to be the literary elements, or the parts. And these parts would be setting, character, point of view, theme, and maybe even symbol. This is where the authors find the tools to examine the what, the theme. As best as I can tell, there are a lot of different ways you could go about writing this essay. Maybe I'll give you an example of 1 or 2 that I've seen in the past a lot. Family heritage is a big idea about life. It's something that we all connect to, I think. We all have families, and we all have maybe heritage in those families, heritage in the form of stories or traditions, even sometimes languages, recipes, even following a specific sports team could be a part of your long family heritage. We've seen many stories this semester that examine that idea of heritage. 2 in particular would be 2 kinds and everyday use. I think in both of those stories, the authors Alice Walker for everyday use and Amy Tan for 2 kinds are looking at what the idea of family and heritage mean in a person's life. when I think about the stories individually, some of the parts come to mind where those ideas about heritage are explored. For everyday use, it's the quilts and the butter churner, the items that Dee wants when she comes back home. They're the items that Mama in the story refuses to give her in the end and chooses for them to stay with Maggie. Now, there's a lot of detail about those quilts that might point in interesting ways to what the author wants to examine about the idea of family heritage. In two kinds, those items might be the songs or even the piano itself that Jing-Mei so rejects, and the piano forms the moment for her real rejection of her mother after the recital, and probably the harshest words that we've heard anyone say to one another in the story, when Jing-Mei says to her mother, "I wish I were dead, like your other two daughters, the ones she lost in China." That piano comes back at the end of the story as a moment of triumph, I think, for Jing-Mei. She's playing that piano at the end. Even though her mother's gone, she's sitting there, she's had it retuned and polished, and realizes that it really is a beautiful piano, something she couldn't realize before. Both the songs as well as the piano, in two kinds, reflect ideas about heritage. So do other items, and the quilts and the butter churner, and what Dee wants to do with them, I think. They connect to ideas of family heritage. So in that paper, I might try to discuss both items, and finally, I think, come to a conclusion that examines perhaps what the two stories are saying about heritage and maybe how those messages are different. This is a compare and contrast essay, but it's also, an argument essay. You're creating an argument. You're trying to persuade me of what the theme is in both stories and where in the stories that theme resides. So to find those moments of setting, of symbol, of character, of dialogue that reflect that theme. The paper's due on February 24th, Sunday. All week long I'll be checking my email, so if you wanted to write your thesis statement, the line in your paper that says what you're going to be examining, the sentence in your essay that states the argument, you could email me that. You could email me an introduction or conclusion. If you have any questions along the way, you could always email me those as well. Good luck, and after this week we'll be moving to the play. Let me see if I can find it for us amongst the books. Proof by David Albarn. I think you're going to love it, and we'll spend a couple weeks on that, and then we'll be to spring break. Take care, and I'll be reading your papers and your essays. I look forward to it.